No, but I can. Hello and welcome to ELBC Newsline. Today is Wednesday, March 4, 2026. My name is Fadim Kuya presenting and these are our top stories. President Joseph Boyka expresses condolences on the passing of former Representative Solomon George during telephone call with Christopher George, son of the deceased. Ministry of Finance launches five-year strategic plan to boost national development. LIBOR calls on United Nations to treat digital education as strategic security policy in conflict zones. And on the international scene, Nigeria suspends pilgrimages to Israel and West Bank amid Middle East crisis. These stories and much more, including sports, the weather forecast, the news in Liberian English and French. But first, Emmanuel Colley and the news bulletin.
President Joseph Boakai has extended condolences to the family and constituents of former Montserrat County District 7 Representative Solomon George following his passing on Friday, February 27, 2026. An executive mansion release says President Boakai held a telephone conversation with the deceased first son, Christopher Solomon George, during which he conveyed heartfelt sympathy on behalf of himself and the government. The president assured the bereaved family of government's full support throughout the funeral arrangements and all related activities as they prepare to lay their beloved father, the distinguished foreign servant, to rest. President Boakai said, with profound sadness that the passing of former Representative George represents a significant loss to the people of District 7 Montserrat County and to the country as a whole. It is tried to make lawmakers a fearless representative, a resolute voice in national discourse, and a committed advocate for democratic governance and the welfare of his constituents. At the same time, President Joseph Boakai has launched the 2026 National Ramadan Rice Distribution in Monrovia. The exercise is part of the president's annual contribution to members of the Muslim community during the month of Ramadan. Minister of State for Portfolio Muhammad Abdulati launched the rice distribution exercise Wednesday on behalf of President Joseph Boakai. According to municipality, the annual process is targeting several malls across Montserrat and other counties, as well as the vulnerable population. Municipality conveyed President Boakai appreciation to the Muslim community as they continue to intercede on behalf of the nation and the people. Meanwhile, the benefiting malls in several remarks lauded President Boakai for the gesture and promised to continuously pray for Liberia's peace and prosperity. The National Muslim Council of Liberia has expressed gratitude to President Joseph Boakai for donating rice and other items to the Muslim community. National Muslim Council Chairman Alhaji Ibrahim Pomashiri noted that the items donated by the Liberian leader will alleviate constraints faced by some Muslims who are fasting. It recalls the tremendous support President Boakai has given over the years, including dialogue with Muslims and assisting them to perform Hajj in Mecca, among others. The chairman of the National Muslim Council of Liberia prayed that God will continue to bestow blessing on President Boakai as he steers the affairs of the country. He pledged the Muslim community commitment to sustain peace and coexistence with their Christian brothers and sisters. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has launched its five-year strategic plan. Speaking Wednesday at the ceremony in Town, UN Residence Coordinator Christine Omotune says the plan must impact the livelihoods of the people. But Omotune wants the ministry to work diligently to ensure the plan delivers all the needed services to every sector.
This is to support the implementation of the plan in the state government, civil society, and the sector all populations to ensure that this plan delivers meaningful results for all residents at national, subnational level.
She noted that the development of Liberia does not tie around a single ministry or agency, but requires the efforts of all government institutions, including partners. And Omotuni also pledged the United Nations support for the Finance Ministry's strategic plan, noting the Liberian government's development agenda aligns with the United Nations framework. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Gosin Gapua has termed The ministry's 5-year strategic plan has a holistic framework. Mr. Fund disclosed that the plan cuts across every sector of the governance structure. Primary objectives to improve the well-being of Liberians. He believes when government does not perform well in its service delivery agenda for the people, its failure will be attributed to the Ministry of Finance.
So civil servants across the entire country. The plan is also for development part of the home work. The plan is for all the ministries, some of whom are here, foreign affairs, justice, LRA. The reason is that if the Ministry of Finance performs well, most likely the government performs well.
Mr. Gafron spoke Wednesday in Pomotown when the Finance Ministry launched its 5-year strategic plan. The plan was launched under the theme Transforming Priorities into Strategies, the pathway to efficient service delivery. The government is hosting a high-level delegation from the Export-Import Bank of Korea and IGD and Company. The visit is part of the 2025-2026 KSP African Development Bank Joint Consortium that focuses on enhancing domestic resource mobilization in Liberia through evidence-based policy reforms. According to the release, the Ministry of Finance is playing host to the Korean delegation. The initiative is a research grants from the governments of the Republic of Korea, valued at over $260,000 on its knowledge-sharing program, the KSP. The project is being implemented in partnership with the African Development Bank, the only international development partner participating in the mission. According to the Finance Ministry release, the study will assess existing systems, identify gaps and constraints, and propose practical strategies to enhance revenue performance, institutional effectiveness, and macroeconomic stability. The delegation will hold consultation with key stakeholders and convene a launching seminar on Thursday in Monrovia to formally commence the research activities. Meanwhile, government says the results from the research will culminate in a final report with policy recommendations to be issued in July 2026. The report is expected to guide reforms aimed at improving domestic revenue generation and strengthening Liberia's fiscal sustainability. The Ministry of Finance described the initiative as strategic partnership and reaffirms government's commitment to advancing domestic resource mobilization as a cornerstone for sustainable and inclusive development. Liberia has presented several proposals to the United Nations Security Council for consideration. Proposals include the establishment of a post-conflict education digital recovery window within existing international financing mechanisms and the development of a pilot network of solar-powered community digital hubs. Liberia's recommendations were delivered in a statement by the country's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Louis Brunner, at a recent Security Council meeting in New York, the United States. Ambassador Brunner also called for a voluntary coalition of governments, technologists, and educators to design low offline first learning systems for conflict environments. He noted that digital learning infrastructure, including connectivity, devices, teacher training, and child protection safeguards, must be embedded in every recovery framework and not treated as a secondary priority. Meanwhile, Ambassador Louis Brown says Liberia stands as evidence that recovery is possible when the world invests early and wisely. According to him, Liberia's journey from hosting peacekeepers to contributing to peacekeeping was shaped by education anchored in opportunity. Addressing a United Nations Security Council briefing recently, Ambassador Brown noted that investing in digital education in fragile contexts reduces the pool from which armed groups recruit. He believes such investments also strengthen girls' autonomy and narrows the space in which harmful ideologies take root and builds communities that choose violence over bullets. The Gender Ministry is craving the support of young people to fight against sexual gender-based violence in the country. Gender Minister Benjamin Harris Colley wants Liberia's youth population work along with the government in finding solutions to the menace. Mr. Harris Colley spoke Wednesday and Elbc interview minutes after participating in a youth policy dialogue in Monrovia. The event was organized by sexual reproductive health rights champions in collaboration with the Gender Ministry. The Gender Minister funds participants while pledging government's zero tolerance against gender-based violence. Meanwhile, Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Toy has committed government to protecting every Liberian irrespective of their backgrounds. Mr. Toy also expressed government's readiness to collaborate with youth-led organizations to widen discussion on sexual gender-based violence in the country. The Justice Minister disclosed that ongoing nationwide prevention campaign as part of the fight against sexual gender-based violence in the country. He noted that the government has since set up a community-based reporting channel to protect Liberian women and girls against LGBT. The that's Justice Minister described the policy dialogue organized by the Sexual Reproductive Health Rights Champions and the Gender Ministry as a step in the right direction. A writ of summons has been issued on the Liberia Marketing Association president and all those operating and acting on its authority by the Monrovia City Court. The writ in possession of this station was as a result of a complaint filed by Monrovia City Mayor John Safar, alleging that the LMA is in a constant habit of dumping and disposing market waste on public streets and waterways. The writ apparent that the action of the LMA is creating hazardous sanitation conditions within the city of Monrovia and its environs. The action of the defendants, according to the court, purposely and intentionally violates City Ordinance numbers 1 and 7, Section 1 of the Administrative Regulations on General Funds. The MCC, through the government, also imposed a fine of $5,000 on the LMA to be paid within 72 hours of the issuance of the writ for violating the laws. The updates of Bond County Senator Prince Moe has dismissed allegations levied against Senator Moe by Spoon Network Chief Executive Officer Stanton Waterspoon. According to the lawmaker's office, Stanton Waterspoon, during a MyFair podcast, accused Senator Moe of milking the country and seeking committee assignments for corrupt purposes. In response, the senator's office said committee assignments are determined by the Liberian Senate and not by individual lawmakers. He added that the Ways, Means and Finance Committee is one of the legislature's most technically demanding pioneers, responsible for oversight of the national budget, revenue generation, and fiscal policy. The statement also rejected claims that Senator Moe used his proximity to President Iboaka to influence the appointment of deputy ministers. He reaffirmed the senator's commitment to fiscal discipline, transparency, and public accountability, and expressed openness, lawful, and institutional review of his record. Liberia Electricity Corporation Elbc Deputy Managing Director for Operations, Thomas Gonkayan, wants Liberian engineers lead digital transformation in all sectors of the country. Mr. Gonkayan said leading digital transformation in energy, transport, agriculture, health, and finance is not optional but a strategic move to promote growth and development. The Liberian engineer noted that the country faces real challenges, including limited electricity access, vulnerable road networks, and inadequate water and sanitation system. The LEC Deputy Managing Director added that these challenges demand routine solutions, innovation, creativity, and collaboration among others. He made a remark Wednesday when he served as keynote speaker at the program marking observance of World Engineering Day, organized by the Engineering Society of Liberia. Government, through the Ministry of Commerce and Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, has issued a price circular on petroleum products for March 2026. The new petroleum product ceiling affects wholesale and retail markets. Under the new rates, government said pump prices for gasoline and fuel will remain stable in United States dollar terms, while retail prices are set at $4.02 per gasoline. The cost of pure oil is $4.33, reflecting adjustments based on prevailing exchange rates and average flat pricing from previous market value. And the Central Bank of Liberia says the ongoing conflict in the Middle East will significantly affect the prices of major commodities in the global market. CBL Director of Monetary Policy and Research, Raji Adam, says, given Iran's role as a major distributor of fuel, the conflict could trigger a sharp increase in global fuel prices with possible ripple effects on Liberia's economy. Speaking on Elbc's Morning Matters program Wednesday, Mr. Adam expressed hope that the war will not be prolonged, noting that a sustained conflict could disrupt global trade facilitation. He added that should the situation persist, the Central Bank of Liberia is ready to deploy its reserves to absorb potential economic shocks and ensure the Liberian dollar remains stable and efficient. Mr. Ano said the CBN is currently following the developments closely to ensure macroeconomic stability and fair pricing.